When a pope dies, the Vatican enters a period of solemn ritual and precise protocol designed to preserve the unity and continuity of the Catholic Church. This period is known as Sede Vacante, Latin for the seat being vacant, referring to the vacancy of the Holy See until a new pope is elected. The death is first verified by the Camerlengo, who was once traditionally required to strike the pope's forehead 3 times with a silver hammer and call his baptismal name to confirm death. This practice has become symbolic in modern times, replaced by confirmation from the pope's personal physician. Once confirmed, the Camerlengo notifies the dean of the College of Cardinals and the Secretary of State, who coordinate announcements to world governments and, finally, the public. Immediately afterward, the papal apartments are sealed, red wax seals are placed on the doors, and the late pope's private quarters, documents, and possessions are secured. Though many continue in caretaker roles, they can no longer enact decisions until a new pope is elected. Only the Camerlengo and the College of Cardinals, a body of senior church officials, remain in authority during Sede Vacante. Cardinals are the highest-ranking clerics below the pope, and they fall into 3 orders: cardinal bishops, senior-most, cardinal priests, often archbishops of major dioceses, and cardinal deacons, usually curial officials. Bishops, who oversee dioceses, are below cardinals in the hierarchy. Not all bishops are cardinals, but all cardinals must at least be bishops. As preparations for the funeral begin, the pope's body is dressed in red vestments, symbolizing martyrdom and sacrifice, and displayed in St. Peter's Basilica, where thousands may pay their respects. He is eventually placed in a triple coffin, each layer with deep symbolism. The innermost cypress coffin represents humility and the Pope's humanity. The middle lead coffin preserves the body and signifies the permanence of the Church. The outer elm or oak coffin, a traditional hardwood, is both protective and symbolic of dignity and honor. This entire coffin assembly is interred in the crypt beneath St. Peter's Basilica. The heart of the transition, however, lies in the Conclave, the election of the next Pope, dating back to 1274, when Gregory X established it to force cardinals to choose a pope more quickly after a nearly 3-year vacancy. The word conclave comes from the Latin cum clave, meaning with a key, referring to the fact that the cardinal electors are literally locked in until they produce a result. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote. As of recent practice, up to 120 cardinals may participate. They are housed in the Domus Sanctae Marthae, a Vatican guest house adjacent to St. Peter's Basilica, where they stay for the duration of the conclave under strict isolation. Technically, any baptized male Catholic in the world is eligible to be elected pope, though in modern times, the chosen individual has always been a cardinal. No cardinal elector is permitted to have contact with the outside world during the conclave. Cell phones, laptops, internet access, radios, newspapers, all are strictly forbidden. The Sistine Chapel, where voting occurs, is swept for electronic bugs by Vatican security and Italian intelligence services. Signal jamming devices are used, and even the chimney smoke becomes a code. Black smoke, produced by burning ballots with chemicals like potassium perchlorate, signals an inconclusive vote. White smoke, created by adding lactose and rosin, indicates a successful election. However, in the past, confusion often arose because the smoke color was hard to interpret. To avoid further misunderstandings, an electronic smoke generator was introduced in 2005 alongside the traditional stove, ensuring the color of the smoke is unmistakable. Voting begins 15 to 20 days after the Pope's death, following the Novem Dialis, or 9 days of mourning. The cardinal electors meet daily in the Sistine Chapel, where they swear an oath of secrecy before God and under threat of excommunication. Each day, they may vote up to 4 times, 2 rounds in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. The ballot is handwritten with the name of the chosen candidate, folded, and carried individually by each cardinal to the altar. There, the cardinal places it on a plate and tips it into a chalice. The ballots are then counted by 3 scrutineers, who are randomly selected from among the electors before each vote. Their job is to tally the votes and record the results. Each vote is read aloud and logged. If no candidate receives a 2/3 majority, the ballots are burned with chemicals to produce black smoke. After the fourth unsuccessful vote of the day, the cardinals break for prayer and reflection. They're expected to remain in seclusion until a new pope is chosen, however long it takes. One of the longest, in Viterbo from 1268 to 1271, dragged on for nearly 3 years. To break the deadlock, local authorities locked the cardinals in, reduced their food, and removed the roof of the building. A pope was soon elected, and the ordeal led to reforms that shaped the modern conclave. Once a cardinal finally receives the required supermajority, the dean of the College of Cardinals asks him, "Do you accept your canonical election as Supreme Pontiff?" If he accepts, he immediately chooses a papal name, a tradition that began in the 6th century, and is led to the Room of Tears, a small chamber near the Sistine Chapel. There, he changes into the papal white cassock prepared in several sizes. Moments later, the cardinal appears on the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and declares to the world, "We have a pope." The newly elected pope then steps forward and delivers his first blessing. The new pope inherits not just a spiritual office, but a global institution, a sovereign state with diplomatic relations in 183 countries, its own central bank, one of the most secure archives in the world, and the moral leadership of over 1.4 billion Catholics.